Hey guys, hoping all is well with everyone. So in this video we're going to be continuing our read along of the Secret Zoo Raids and Rescues. And last time we completed chapter 28, so we'll be starting with chapter 29 today. I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you enjoy the read today. And here we go. Chapter 29, The Croc Crater. Noah leaned his forehead on the glass and stared down into the Croc Crater. Perhaps 30 feet beneath him, Tank and the three Descenders were spread out across a dirt floor with patches of tall yellow grass. Around them, trees rose and weak waterfalls trickled. Two walls of the pit resembled the walls of a rocky mountainside. Tameron looked worse off than the others. He lay with his head in Hannah's lap. His eyes and mouth were half open, and Hannah was fanning his face with her hand. Sam and Tank were both sitting with their backs against a concrete wall, their heads slumped onto their raised knees. "I'm sending them," Evie whispered, and then Noah heard one of her portal pockets unzip. Dozens of chameleons streamed up her leg, across her torso, and then up her arm and onto the trunk of a nearby tree. From there, they scurried along a branch and dropped on the glass roof of the enclosure. Evie grabbed the last chameleon before it got too far and attached a folded piece of paper to its back with a rubber band. Then she sent the chameleons on its way. The chameleons wiggled through air vents, landing in the treetops. From there, they crawled along the branches, down the trunks, and onto the ground, where they headed for the people they had come to rescue. When Tank noticed a chameleon crawling on its leg, he raised his head to swat it, and then stopped his arm in mid-swing. Sam's muffled voice came through the glass. "Tank! What's happening?" Noah saw that the chameleons were ghosting him. Tank looked up and spotted the chameleons streaming down the tree trunk. Then Noah heard his voice. "It's them." Hannah and Tameron, Noah saw, were also disappearing beneath the chameleon's magic. Tank scooped up the chameleon with the message, pulled off the rubber band, and smoothed the page. "What does it say?" Noah asked Evie. "Get Charlie's attention." Tank stood, his body beginning to disappear. Then he turned his face toward the heights and hollered as loud as he could, "Roar!" His scream carried cleanly through the vents and out into the creepy core. Within seconds, Charlie Red appeared in the open, torchlit doorway to the side room, his hair a wild shock of red, his giant freckles spotting his face. He dashed toward the Croc Crater, flattening a few bugs on the way, and then pressed his face against the glass. Peering down, he slid across the glass, moving his head again and again because he couldn't believe what he saw, which was nothing. His prisoners were gone, or so it seemed. Swearing, Charlie banged a fist on the glass. Then he turned and ran toward the door marked lower level. "Let's go," Evie whispered to Noah and Ella, and the three of them took off running. When Charlie pulled back the door, insects were dragged along the floor and heaped into a pile. Evie and the scouts followed on his heels. They quietly pursued him down a curving flight of stairs, Charlie's footsteps echoing in the hard, hollow space, and then followed him out into a narrow hallway that extended in both directions. Charlie headed left, wound around a curve, and then stopped at a door marked Croc Crater. He peered into the room through a small window. He cursed again, then unsnapped a keychain from his hip and fumbled with it, the ring and clatter startling a group of spiders. Just as he was about to open the door, he froze and stared through the window, seeming suddenly concerned. Noah willed him to go inside, but he didn't, and worse, he reached for his walkie-talkie. But before he could press the button to talk, his head suddenly rocked forward and clunked against the window. Evie's work, no doubt. His limp body collapsed in a heap, and then Evie dragged him out of the way to pry open the door. "Evie?" someone inside the room said, and Noah realized it had been Tank. "It's me. I got Noah and Ella with me." "Guys, let's go," Tank said. After a few seconds, Charlie's legs lifted up by his ankles, and then he was dragged into the room. Check him for a headset, Evie said, and get rid of his walkie-talkie. Charlie's head turned one way and then the other. Tank was checking his ears. Then his walkie-talkie rose off his hip and smashed to pieces against the floor. A second later, Noah felt Tank brush by him, and then Evie locked the door. Together, the 7 of them escaped up the stairs and gathered in the creepy core. One of the Descenders started to groan. "Shh," someone softly said, and Noah realized it had been Hannah. "Tameron, he's in a bad way," she explained. "We're holding him up, me and Tank." Noah heard the rip of a zipper, and then Evie said, "Here." A pair of boots appeared, and then 2 leather jackets. Evie handed off the gear, which seemed to float and bob as the Descenders dressed in it. The chameleons quickly made everything disappear. "What about Tameron's pack?" Ella whispered. "Keep it on," Evie said, "and keep it safe." "You got a plan to get out of here?" Tank asked. "We got a path," Evie answered. "We saw Sasquatches on the way. Maybe 10. Maybe more. Follow my voice. If I can't talk, I'll mark myself. 8 corridors to the front door. Keep quiet and close. 1 corridor is full of snakes. Once we get beyond that, everything should be easier." "Should or will?" Tank asked. Instead of answering, Evie said, "Let's go." Chapter 30. DeGraff's Orders. Jonathan DeGraff moved through the corridors of his way to the creepy core. A Komodo dragon, or what had once been a Komodo dragon, the lizard now sick with the Shadowist's magic and looking more monstrous than ever, was following at his feet, its long tail sweeping aside insects and the glass shards of broken aquariums. At Legless Lane, DeGraff abruptly stopped when he noticed a faint spot of light. He squatted and picked up a tiny electrical contraption shaped like a bug. The light at its core dimmed, and then blinked out. He pinched his fingers together and crushed it. He stood and stared toward the creepy core, his hand clenched into a fist. It was them. The secret society had gotten in. Had Charlie Red activated the traps? The darkness between him and the creepy core was deep enough for him to surge across, and he sucked back a deep breath, drew the magic of the shadows into his body, and felt himself dissipate. He focused on the end of the Legless Lane, stepped forward, and felt an intense speed, as if he were being hurled through space. When his feet came down to the edge of the creepy core, the magic released his body all at once, his cells regrouping. DeGraff surged next to the Croc Crater. He felt his hands to one of the glass walls and peered into the pit. Inside was a single person, but not one of the prisoners. Charlie Red lay on the ground, his legs splayed. The Shadowist slammed the side of his fist against the glass, causing the insects living inside of him to stir. Spiny legs brushed his dry lips as something climbed onto his tongue. He swallowed and felt the insect struggle to stay out of his throat. Then he touched his ear and pressed a button on the same type of headset the Scouts and Descenders wore. "It's me." A voice came through the speaker. "Mr. DeGraff? We've been infiltrated. Activate the traps." "Yes, sir. Mr. Red is down. I need you to alert everyone. Make sure the Sasquatches are at their posts. Our visitors has the prisoners, so they'll be trying to escape." "Yes, Mr. DeGraff," the voice said. DeGraff glanced over his shoulder at the sight of Charlie again. "Fool," he grumbled. Then he turned to Legless Lane and used his magic to get across it in a single step. And I'll stop the video there, ending chapter 30. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys again soon where we continue the read-along of The Secret Zoo Raids and Rescues with chapter 31. But as always, guys, please take good care of yourselves, be safe, and thank you so much for watching.